The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Forming no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner,
and our fermenter-tainer,
Ween Baker.
And today, our awesome fourth Beer Buster that we're so lucky to have with us is...
Ryan DeLutis.
And Ryan, where are you from?
I am from the brewery at Hershey.
Cool. Well, it's very good to have you here, and we look forward to getting to know you and drinking some of the, I'm sure, awesome beers that you brought with you. But let's get into some news. All right, so there's a couple stories that we thought were worth sharing with you all today. Let's start off with this. A household favorite, regional favorite, Dogfish Head. They are moving to a year-round lineup they're going to have their first sessionable beer that they're going to add in 2014. Now, Wayne, you're laughing, and I know why, and thank you for reminding me.
Dogfish is... Well, actually, I was not going to bring that
I
up.
just incriminated myself.
I was just laughing at because Dogfish has some pretty strong beers. So
they really... And they
sessionable isn't necessarily something you
right.
think of.
And they make reference to that. They say from the day that we opened in 1995, the average beer that we brewed has been 9% ABV, but the one that they're doing now is going to be a 4.8% Belgian-style white beer, which they've had available in a 750 milliliter champagne-style bottle on a limited basis only, but they're going to make this available in 12-ounce six-packs beginning in January of 2014, so relatively shortly.
Yeah, that'd be... What's it called?
It is...
Namaste.
Namaste. There we go.
And this recipe was actually formulated or inspired by Sam's wife as well. Maria is her name? I can't remember now. I'm having a brain fart. Sorry.
Marie.
But she came up with the idea for this beer and the style, and she also named it, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Mariah.
Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, very nice.
I had the first couple letters right.
Dancing around it.
Yeah. Now the last quote that Sam Calagione.
Good job.
Calagione. All right. We love going big, but we also hear that call. We also hear the calls for a more sessionable, off-centered ale, which would be pretty cool because I mean they're known for their big beers, like he says, like the 60, 90, the 120 IPAs. I mean, there's so many.
Worldwide Stout.
I was just talking to Steph earlier today that I had just had the Satie, the Dogfish Head Satie, which is really good. Yeah, it's a really good one. I had it for the first time about a week ago.
Very cool.
But yeah, Dogfish Head, pretty much all their beers.
I'm excited that Namaste is going to be in. I can get it in a 6-pack now.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I love the big bomber bottles, but sometimes you just want a beer on your own. And 750 milliliters is a lot to drink in one sitting, of course, of the same beer. So it'll be nice to have that offered in a smaller bottle.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that we saw, there's a place in Philly called the City Tap House, and they are bringing even more craft beer to Washington, D.C.'s Chinatown. They're going to be bringing more craft beer and a meaty menu to the Edge Chinatown in D.C., and they're going to occupy the former 901 space near the city center, so anyone who's familiar with D.C., I hope that means more to you than it does to me. It's right around the Verizon Center.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so that I actually do know. I passed through there once. I went to the rally Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert had down there. I tried to go to that.
Oh, I remember that.
We left at 7 in the morning, and we got there at 1 because traffic was that bad.
I've been to a hockey game there, but I think that's about it.
One of my favorite things to come out of that rally was a picture I saw online. It was somebody holding a sign that said, "If your beliefs fit on a sign, think harder." Which I thought was pretty cool.
That. Yeah. Now, Andy Farrell, who is City Tap House's beer steward, he aims to make the menu easy to navigate and to educate the guests who are looking to try something new, which I am always a fan of. They're aiming to keep about 40% of the taps local, and we can expect to see some of the beers from Philly that haven't made it into DC otherwise, like Yards and Tired Hands. I'm sure they're going to feature Victory, just to name a few out of the Philly area. Now they're going to have they're going to have 40 draft lines and 2 cask lines. 20 will be devoted to rotating seasonal favorites. And they are going to have, like they said, a very meaty menu, which makes somebody like myself very happy. The one thing that I really liked in this article, my jaw dropped, and I said, holy expletive, I can't put on a podcast and trying to keep it clean. Double smoked bacon popcorn.
Holy fudge sickles.
Yes. That's close to what I wrote on the paper, too. They're also going to have duck fat fries, daily specials, which are going to be beer braised short ribs on Wednesdays and butcher selected steaks on Saturdays, among others. And brick oven pizzas. They're going to have beers you can pair with mussels that they're going to have there. Wow. All in all, it seems like it's going to be pretty good.
A lot of delicious beast flesh.
Now, they're going to have a see-through keg refrigerator, which is going to be pretty cool, and that's going to be their focal point. And as far as artwork and decor goes, they're going to have a lot of framed vintage Prohibition-era photos, the Dark Ages. And it's got a capacity of 180. It looks like they're going to have a dining room that can be partitioned for private parties, for happy hours. A lot of good stuff coming. So if you make it to DC in the near future, make sure you go and check that out, because that sounds really awesome.
DC has an awesome beer scene right now. I recently got to go to Church Key, which is an amazing beer bar, but Mad Fox Brewing, which is in the DC area. They're in Falls Church, Virginia, but I know a lot of their beers are available in DC. One of the graduates of the American Brewers Guild with me, Brian Murphy, he's one of the brewers there. And I got to try a few of their beers last week when I was at their at my residency week. So definitely check out and search out Mad Fox Brewing, because they're doing some good stuff there.
I think it's awesome too for an outlet for Philly area beers to be available in DC.
Absolutely.
It's cool that they're because that's going to be a pretty cool channel to get a little more.
And maybe they'll do the same. Maybe we'll get a bar in Philly that'll feature DC area beers. That'd be
now,
cool.
I want to comment on something you said. ABG.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we have another news story.
Yeah.
Steph.
Yeah, Steph, this is awesome. So tell us what happened.
I graduated.
All right.
Well, right now I have a temporary diploma because I still have to do my internship, which I will do over summer.
Temporary registration on your car.
So, but I am, yes, I have completed the Craft Brewers Apprenticeship Program through the American Brewers Guild. I had a kick-ass time at residency week in Vermont, in Middlebury, Vermont. I spent the week at the Drop-In Brewery with Steve Parks and the rest of the awesome instructors. Scott Shirley from Harpoon, amazing. I look up at him for many years, so to get to be taught how to filter beer by him was incredible. And Gwen was there from Lost Abbey, and Dan Del Grande from Bison Brewing, and Ron Cody, who is formerly from Otter Creek. So it was an inspiring, a busy, a crazy, awesome week. So
that's really cool.
I'm very proud to be an alumni of that great institution.
You brought back some souvenirs. We posted on Facebook.
Yes, you proudly posted that for me.
Hashtag beer porn.
My 9 growlers and 49 bottles.
Yes.
But many of them are Christmas presents. Rich asked what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, just take money, go to these breweries, and fill a box and wrap it. And that's exactly what he did. So
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, that's really fantastic.
Yeah, you've actually had way more beer schooling than I have. I'm doing this for a living now, so that's awesome.
Wow. There was one.
Steph, it can happen.
Yes.
Dreams do come true.
There was one other story that I saw that I want to throw out there, because we met this person, Laura Bell, who is Bell's Brewery.
Love her.
Yes, she was really, really, really cool. We met her at one of the Beer Week events. They're going to be expanding into north central Pennsylvania, and they're going to be reaching, a couple counties here. They're going to have Clinton, Columbia, Lycoming, McKean, Montour, Northumberland, Potter, Snyder, Sullivan, Susquehanna, Tioga, Union, and apparently there is a Wyoming county in Pennsylvania. They are all going to have Bell's beverages, Bell's beer pretty soon. And Laura Bell herself, who is the vice president of Bell's, was quoted as saying, "This new partnership fills in a large portion of the state of Pennsylvania, and we are thrilled to be able to offer our beer to fans in these additional counties." Now, Bell's, they were started in 1985. They started just a simple 15-gallon setup. They have now over 200 people they employ, over 19 states that they reach. They also reach to Puerto Rico, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
And Washington, D.C. So maybe that tap house will feature Bell's. Just saying. Now, they're based out of, their pub is in Kalamazoo. I like that name. And it's also called the Eccentric Cafe, which I thought was kind of cool. For more information, you can visit bellsbeer.com. I very strongly recommend trying some of their beers. They are very worth your while and worth your palate and your liver.
Excellent. Before we finish news, I just want to give out one more shout out.
Yes.
I did a shout out for Brian. So another graduate of the program, Michael Harper, out of Fort Collins, Texas. He just recently opened a brewery, Wahoo Brewing, down that way. So if we have any listeners from Texas, go ahead and check them out. He's an awesome guy, great personality, and we've been tweeting back and forth a lot. So he proudly added our Beer Busters sticker to his collection.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I added his to ours. So shout out to the awesome people I was with last week.
Yeah, very nice. Congratulations to all. That's a huge accomplishment. So now that we are done the news, I would like to introduce everybody again to Ryan. Thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So now we had a short little bio that we had here. Saying for the past 15 years you were a graphic artist and web designer, which I know you were talking to Wayne off air about.
Definitely.
And what I like is that you also play ice hockey.
I do. Still.
What position do you play?
I'm a goaltender.
Yes.
Okay, very nice.
Yes. I love goaltenders.
So I noticed those statues up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, in the Beer Busters podcast basement, there's a lot of hockey paraphernalia, which is
and there are a lot
good.
of goal. There's Patrick Waugh over there, Roman Czechmanic, Tim Thomas. There's a Marty Turco somewhere. Yes, I love my goaltenders.
Very nice.
Yeah, out of all those, Czechmanic's probably one that doesn't belong.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a Flyers fan.
Okay, that was my next question. What
Yeah.
team do you go with? So that's
Definitely,
good with the Flyers.
definitely.
Very nice. Now, being based out of Hershey, do you go to Bears games a lot?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
I've never been to one.
What?
I know.
Yeah. Through high school, I went to a lot of them, and after high school, and then I finally took my daughter to a game last year. She was 3.5 at the time, had a blast.
Oh, that's good.
Got a foam bear claw that she still plays with, so
That's good.
We'll be hitting up a game soon here. I hope so.
Yeah, with the Royals.
Bears.
Oh, I thought you meant.
Oh, I thought you
No.
right.
Okay,
Signal
sorry.
crossed.
I thought you meant like here, like in the Reading area.
Here,
'cause we've
here
got the-
soon.
Here temporally,
Okay.
not geographically.
Yeah.
Got you.
We were just having this conversation about multiple meaning words.
Yeah.
And
We were,
grammar.
Oh, wow.
You know, I remember, speaking of the Hershey Bears, you may have gone with for this. One time when we were younger, we went to a Bears game with a church group. And
Why were we affiliated with the church group?
I think Grandma had been involved with them somehow, and we went to a game with them, and you know they were cool people and whatever. And before we left, we all held hands and they prayed that we get there safe and all that. It was all and then we get there. And these people were like screaming for blood. They're like, hit him, make him bleed, knock him over. And Dad was with us because I remember he was like,
A normal hockey game.
Basically, yeah.
people, but
Brings
they were,
out the best in all
they
of
were
us.
all quiet, nice, calm church people, very nice, very whatever. And then they get to the hockey game, and it was just like a switch flipped. But yeah, you mentioned the Hershey Bears. Just for some reason, that random memory popped up.
I don't remember that at all.
That was probably, I guess, at the old arena.
Yeah, that was a long while ago.
The Giants Center is really nice, that new arena there. Anyway.
Very nice. Nothing compares to the old arena. I mean, the
Yeah.
old arena was built like vertically, so you could be in the top row and still feel like you're a fall on the
Yeah,
ice. So
absolutely.
Nice.
I had been to the Giants Center, though, Giant Arena, whatever they're calling it. I saw Green Day there years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Cool.
Yeah. So now the brewery at Hershey is a relatively new thing, if I'm reading correctly. Opened up in August of this year.
August 11th, we opened. The vineyard itself has been open. I guess February will be 2 years.
Oh, okay,
So,
right. And you guys are at the vineyard at Hershey.
Yeah, we
then.
share. We're actually the first production center in Pennsylvania to be both beer and wine in the
Ooh.
same room in the same building.
Wow, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, I always thought it was illegal or something. Apparently,
I kinda figured it was.
It's not.
Well,
no.
I was going to say it's interesting because you can't sell those products in the same store in
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Right, but now you can brew them.
make them at the
There's
same
so
location.
many like areas of our property that are licensed for certain things. We have a brewery license, we have a brew pub license, we have a winery license, and
Right.
you got to be careful
You
where
have
you
like
things,
masking
yeah.
tape on the floor. Like this
Don't
is
cross
the
this
brewery-
line.
the brewery ends.
They're in separate buildings, the brewery and the vineyard.
Right.
So I guess that's how you get away with it.
We're in different parts of the building, and yeah,
Right.
we have a map that shows us where all the lines are.
Yeah.
But to actually put both in the same production center, all we needed was a 4-foot-high wall separating the two areas with no more than a 10-foot gap. So we have literally a 4-foot-high plywood trash bag wrapped wall to separate us.
Wow.
That is
Just in case we would have moved it at some point. But
That is
So you
silly.
actually brew the beer and produce the wine in the same area. Is that in the barn there?
I'm on the one side. Yeah, it's in the big red barn in the basement. So I'm on the one side in the brewery, and then Paul makes the wine on the other side.
Oh, very cool.
So, and
Makes
I don't know
for
what the
some
4-foot high
interesting
wall
aromas.
separates, because I'm,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing over there? But, yeah.
that is very strange. You know.
Well, I guess that kind of makes it a little easier to experiment if you wanted to do like wine barrel aging or anything like that.
Definitely.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I do have some things. I have some small batches planned down the line. One's fermenting now. It's he does a chocolate wine, and when he racked it out of his fermenter, he had all these like basically cocoa nibs and oak chips that were soaked in Merlot and brandy. And I was like, scooped them up. And,
I can use those.
Took them with me. It took me like 2 days to figure out to throw a big oatmeal stout on top of it. And
man. Wow, that sounds
so
good.
That should be out in a week or two.
That sounds really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that does sound really good. Cool.
Wow.
Do you have a name for it?
I was tossing around Merlot Stout.
I like
I
that.
love it.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
Love it.
I just came up with another one the other night. He gave me Chardonnay soaked oak chips from our oak Chardonnay. So I figured to put a nice bone dry Saison on top of that and let that go for a while. So
That's right up Steph's alley.
Chardonnay's on.
Chardonnay's
It's too easy.
It just writes itself.
It does
Yeah,
write
that's
itself.
right.
Sometimes the beer names just write themselves. Sometimes we're just racking our brains for them.
Yeah. So those both sound really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did I read right that you guys have, 4 year-round beers on tap and 2 rotating seasonals, I saw?
Yes, 2 or 3,
At
depending.
least 2,
what
okay.
sticks
Yeah, there's at
around
least
or
2, yeah.
If I get jumpy and make a new one. But
Yeah.
we have our 4 flagships. We have I guess style-wise, it's an extra special bitter. I call it American special bitter because it started out a long time ago as a kitchen sink beer. I just took grain that I had, hops that I had at home, and just kind of put them together style-wise. It was kind of special bitter, but it was all American hops and Victory Malt and a lot of American grains as well. But Pond Jumper is our American special bitter. We have an IPA, a big American IPA that the hops have changed twice now, depending on what I can get and everything like that. This iteration I do like. It's dry hopped with Cascade. I finally got my hands on. And,
very nice.
Uses Chinook and Willamette hops. We've got our Wise Guy Hefeweizen, which has been our best seller so far. I mean, we opened in the summertime. We have a concert series, Decked Out Live, every Friday night in the summertime.
Oh, nice.
Perfect deck beer. Nice citrusy banana Hefeweizen. Cool. And our last one is MILF, our chocolate brown ale.
Nice.
That stands for microbrewer I'd love to finish. I don't know what you were thinking. It is there on fine print on the tap marker. So,
Very fine print.
The first thing that popped into my head.
That was our chocolate brown ale.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, are you guys, I know you do, pints and growlers and everything there. Are you planning on distributing? Do you guys distribute? Are you able to get it elsewhere, or is it just on site?
On site, the only takeout we have is growlers,
Okay.
or you could buy halves or sixtels.
Okay.
For takeout, we're in the process of getting our beer out to local bars. Over the summer, we were kind of, we were basically throwing giant parties on the property every couple weeks, and I was, hopped right into it, and it was a task to keep up with all that stuff. But now we're definitely focused on getting out to area craft beer bars and everything. We just got, I just delivered today 3 kegs to Al Kaminsky up at Owsley Hampton Pizza Boy Brewing, and on Monday I made a 130-mile round trip to 7 of the 8 Arugas to drop off beers.
Wow.
So that was fun and awesome, and so I'm a brewer, I'm a delivery boy.
A little bit of everything.
I was doing some construction today.
Wow.
A lot of stuff going on. The graphic artist still.
Right,
So,
right. So
it's fun.
there's, did you say there was five people involved in the company
There
altogether?
are 5 partners.
5
yes.
partners.
We have,
okay.
Jason is our CEO. He's also a lawyer, which is nice.
Oh, that helps.
He
Yeah.
does all the licensing, all the.
He's the one who told you
all
had to
the
have
red-
that 4-foot wall.
Exactly. He found out that requirement. All the stuff that I couldn't imagine myself doing on my own as far as that goes.
Right.
We have Doug, who's the property owner. It's his 40-acre farm right off the Toll House Road, exit of 283 is where we're located. We have Merlot Mike, who you probably might have seen on TV. He's been on 3 different newscasts this week.
Oh, wow.
He is our marketing guy, and he's awesome. I was in online marketing. I defer to him. He gets people to our property. He is a social media genius and does a great job like that. He loves dressing up. He was on the news this week dressed as Santa. He loves gaudy NBA draft style suits to wear to our events and everything. He's awesome. And then the two other partners are myself and Paul, our winemaker.
Cool. And they're the only people involved in the business. You don't have any other employees?
We have employees. We have, there's probably 10, 12 other employees that run the tasting room and the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. Okay. And serve the beers and everything. So
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, we definitely want to thank you again for coming out.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm very excited. I know you had the shirts we brought. I think Steph's wearing one of the shirts right now.
I love the shirt.
Yes. I like the tradition that you're having of wearing beer T-shirts while we record.
Well, most of my wardrobe is beer T-shirts.
Yeah, well, the last two episodes you wore Beer Busters.
Yeah.
True.
Which, by the way, you can buy at the Beer Busters swag shop if you go to beerbusterspodcast.com and click on shop.
It is holiday shopping season.
Buy it for the beer lover in your family.
Yeah. Wow, that was a good little plug. Now, you did make reference to the shirt that I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Back to the Future T-shirt, which I thought it was because yesterday, as of recording this episode, yesterday was November 26th, which in the movie November 26, 1955, is the date of the
Enchantment Under the Sea dance,
yes,
where rock and roll was invented by Marty McFly.
Marty McFly, yes. And if one of your children should ever set fire to the living room carpet, go easy on him. But it's got a special relevance to you as well, right?
Absolutely. On opening day of the brewery, we like to make big entrances. And
hence the suits.
Again, Merlot Mike is the genius at this. He got from a local Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey DeLorean club, he got 4 DeLoreans donated for us to ride in on that day.
Donated?
Well, volunteered.
Right, but
dropped off.
I want a DeLorean.
Yeah, and so we rode in on those, and it was great because there was a school right across 283 from us, so we drove up there, and they were parked all in a line, gull-wing doors open. It was amazing. I had so many questions for the guy. I just went off on it. The one car, the license plate was McFly.
Of course.
The other one was GR88 Scott.
Yes.
I snuck that one in. And that was
Sorry,
cool. I know. And then for our Merlot, our biggest party of the year is a Merlot release party. This year we released the Flash Gordon Pumpkin Ale on the same day.
Which I love the name of that, by the way.
Thank you, Gordon. Paul rode in on a brand new Rolls Royce.
Oh, geez.
And wow. I rode in on the back of a monster truck.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Grand entrances indeed.
And that was just something I suggested because they did helicopters the year before.
Oh, my God.
Before I was involved with them.
That's so cool.
Right? I don't even know what's next. I can't wait.
Wow.
But I said monster truck as a throwaway. I really...
And then you turned
it was just the first thing that came into my mind.
And there
all
was
of a sudden,
there's a monster
there
truck.
it is. Wow. And it was cool. And they are really, I was 20 feet off the ground. They are very.
Oh my God.
I can imagine that's got to be.
They're bigger than they look.
Oh my God. When you're in there, I can imagine that's got to be oh my God.
And we're bouncing across the property. I'm trying to hold the first, ceremonial empty 6-stole above my head. And
right.
almost falling out of this thing.
Yeah. Awesome. And then you suddenly realize that's a long drop.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, 1,000 people watch this.
Quick trivia question, Dan. Speaking of license plates on DeLoreans, do you know what the license plate on DeLorean Back to the Future said?
Out of time.
You are correct, sir. Point for you.
Yeah.
Does
that give me a point for the game ahead of time?
Maybe
No.
he's got the T-shirt. I don't think we're going to stump him.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of the game, what do we have coming up today?
Oh, well, yes. Cue the music.
There we go.
Thank you very much. Well, it's happy past fun o'clock, and that means it's time for another thrilling sojourn into the land of happy fun time games. Did you know?
Probably not.
That Dan is a certified past life regression therapist. Steph has an extensive collection of Broadway dancers' used left socks. I once bested a friend in high school in a contest of who could wear the same pair of jeans the longest without washing them. And our guest Ryan is a card-carrying member of the Illuminati. One of those things is true. In yet another game in which the object is to tell whether I'm lying to you or not, I will be reading a series of interesting, funny, and bizarre brew-related news stories. Some of them are actual fact, and others are my own bouncy mind babies. Your task is to tell the difference. I'll read a story, and each of you will decide whether it is the strange truth or a bald-faced lie. In traditional Happy Fun Time Games fashion, we'll alternate who goes first, and the one with the most points, whether earned fairly or not, will be the winner.
I like how you had to throw in earned fairly or not.
Oh, yes, because things can go anyway. So, we are going to start To my left with Dan.
Right. Again.
Of course.
No surprises here.
There's no messing with tradition. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is the story here. This story is John Paul Jones invades England. His men invade the nearest pub. John Paul Jones, or JPJ as his friends probably knew him, was a Scotsman and almost pirate who joined the fledgling U.S. Navy during the Revolutionary War. In one of the most daring acts in American history, Old Jonesy, with a gang of ragtag U.S. Marines, planned to invade England. At a point in history when the American Navy was in its infancy and the British Navy was the undisputed regulator of the seven seas. So actually his friends most likely called him Captain Cannonballs. Jones' plan was to land at Whitehaven and burn the 200 British ships in the port. However, the midnight raid nearly went pear-shaped due to a turncoat named David Freeman and the irrefutable and irresistible allure of British pubs. While the traitor Freeman ran off into the night to warn our limey overlords of the attack, one Lieutenant Wallingford, who was tasked with the ship torching, decided he and his men would really rather just spend the night getting sloshed on ye olde English brew. Despite these setbacks, though, Jones did manage to sink one of the ships at Whitehaven, which was enough to make the Brits crap their collective pantaloons and scored some well-earned street cred for the Yanks. Captain Seabizzle just joined the very short list of people throughout history who managed to successfully invade the British Isles, due in no small part to the fact that a number of his crew really wanted a beer. John Paul Jones invades England. His men invade the nearest pub. Dan, is that a real or fake story?
I'm going to go real.
You're going to go real on that one. Ryan, what do you think? Is that real or fake?
That sounds very plausible. I'm in.
You're in? Yeah. All right, all in. Steph, what do you think?
I'm also going to say real.
You are all going to say real, and you are all correct. That is real. That did really actually happen. So everybody gets a point on that one, and we'll move along to the next one. And this is one close to our heart here at Beer Busters Podcast. Trooper Ale is too metal for Sweden.
Lemon.
Fans of the show will remember the antics inspired by the Iron Maiden branded brew Trooper Ale and its subtle hint of lemon. Systembolaget, the Swedish state-run liquor store monopoly, sound familiar, Pennsylvania, has decided that while the lemon may be subtle, the label is anything but. The artwork taken from Maiden's 1983 hit single The Trooper apparently violates the no heavy metal skulls clause of the liquor label regulations, and it has been barred from shelves pending a makeover. Said Therese Elmgren of Systembolaget, rather vaguely, there has been a discussion about the label. The alcohol law stipulates how it can look. We therefore don't know yet when it can be launched. This is not the first time liquor regulators in Sweden have blocked the sale of a product over label concern. In violation of the no boobies clause of the aforementioned regulations, a Danish beer that depicted a topless woman on the label was also pulled from shelves until the label was redesigned. Trooper Ale pulled from shelves in Sweden. Is that real or fake?
That is fake.
That is fake, says
Ryan. I don't know. I think I'm going to say real.
Steph's going to go ahead and say real. And Dan, what do you think?
I was going to say real until the new no boobies clause, so I'm going fake.
You're going fake. Well, the no boobies clause is fake, but the story is real.
So do I get like half a point then?
Steph is correct. No, you get no points.
Come on.
No points whatsoever. It's not fair. It's not fair. Life's not fair. Moving right along, and Steph is going to go first on this one, and this one is one I think Dan might appreciate. Texas Motor Speedway serves up beer milkshake infused with bacon. The American traditions of watching cars drive in circles really fast and throwing bacon into every conceivable consumable product have come together at the Texas Motor Speedway with the addition of the Shaken Bacon Brew to their menu. The bacon-infused beer milkshake was devised by executive chef and food-themed supervillain Joel Pena. This heart attack waiting to happen cost $10, and the ingredients include 6 ounces of homemade vanilla ice cream, 2 ounces of bacon syrup, 2 ounces of candied bacon, a half bottle of Ugly Pug Black Lager, whipped cream, bacon bits, your last shred of dignity, and it's garnished with the tears of orphans. For the kids, a non-alcoholic version is available with root beer in place of the lager. Steph.
That better be fake.
That better be fake, says Steph. Dan, what do you think? Beer milkshake infused with bacon.
It's real, and I know it's real because when it first came out, 7 different people put it on my Facebook.
Well, there you go. And to give a hint to Ryan, who hasn't guessed yet,
I hope to God that's real.
You hope to God it's real.
And good answer. As no stranger of putting beer in or bacon in beer,
give it a try.
Yeah, I really hope that's real.
That is the absolute truth. That is real.
That's
Sorry,
sad.
Steph. I know.
And there's truly a version for children.
There is with root beer.
That's wrong.
Instead of lager.
Also, where can I get bacon syrup?
I know. That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
point.
And
Yeah.
candy
Is that
bacon.
a real thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Candy bacon
Candied
I've
I'd
heard
have.
of.
Right.
but
Yeah.
Okay.
Bacon syrup?
Bacon
Like a bacon
syrup.
gummy bear. It's awesome.
Wait, is bacon syrup vegan?
I
mean,
hope not.
bacon bits
I
are.
God, I hope
It
not.
could be. Yeah.
Could be.
It could be.
Not in Texas.
Not.
That's true.
That is very.
Good
That's
point.
a very very
Never
good
mind.
point. Yeah. It's not. It's not vegan in Texas. Even the air in Texas is not vegan. All right, moving along, and Dan is up to bat first on this one. This is another historical one. Quality brew thwarts invasion. In 1637, during the creatively named 30 Years' War, Bernhard von Jürgen, an Australian Feldzugmeister, which, for context, is a military rank equivalent to a Klingon Sa'ech, was
Thank you.
leading a troop of Habsburg family loyalists, mercenaries, and conscripted soldiers to reinforce the royal army besieging the city of Pappenheim. A few miles outside of the city walls, the company passed through a small village where they met surprisingly little resistance. Von Jürgen, whose passion for beer was as well known as his prowess for battle, decided to partake in some R&R in a local tavern. The townsfolk, not wanting to upset the war-hardened men with swords, broke out their finest potations, including a local Bach brew. Von Jürgen was enamored of the libation, and when he inquired as to its origins, he was told it was brewed in the city of Pappenheim. After enjoying the quaff long into the evening, he declared that no people capable of creating such a sublime concoction could be called his enemies, and he gathered his men and headed home. The invasion had been canceled. Not all his men agreed. Some minor infighting took place, and to be fair, many historians note that von Jürgen was reluctant to march on the city in the first place, thinking its strategic importance inconsequential. But whatever his true motive, his story was that the beer was just so good he couldn't bear to get all stabby on the people who made it.
Oh, stabby.
Quality beer thwarts invasion. Do you think that's real or fake, Nan?
I believe it is fake.
You say fake, false, untrue. Ryan, what do you think?
I believe it's real because I've had a couple nights where I've had Bach beer and I've basically forgotten to do
Stab
things
people.
after that.
To invade
you know,
cities and-
I don't get real stabby when
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
That's a good thing. You're going to go ahead and say that's real? All right.
I feel for the bear in there or whatever.
The von Jürgen. He's a Feldzugmeister.
I'm going to say fake just because we haven't had any fake ones yet.
Because we haven't had any fake ones yet. Good strategy because you are correct. That is
Okay.
fake. Dan and Steph are correct. I made all of that
Can
up.
Everything.
Can I tell
Stabby.
you why I think it was fake?
Why's that?
It sounded like you're writing style.
I know, right?
Really?
Like stabby, libation.
Well, yeah, well, all the other stories I rewrote in my own
Yeah.
words.
I don't know.
Yeah,
this
but
one
it's-
just it
But this one
gleamed
just
of you.
went a
It
little
sounded
further.
like you,
Which is
yeah.
probably why Ryan got it wrong because he doesn't know me like you guys do. All right.
I wanted to believe it.
yeah, I wouldn't believe it.
It was a pretty believable story.
I thought so.
But I'm like, wait, we haven't had any fake
I was
ones
going to
yet.
go find that Bach as well as the bacon beer shake.
Yeah. I mean, this stops war. Well, you can get the bacon shake because that's true. That
God,
was real.
it's
I want
disturbing.
that. No, it's not. It's awesome.
It's interesting. No comment. And Ryan is up first on this one, and this story is True Witch's Brew. Double toil and trouble, fire burn and brew kettle bubble. Home brewer and self-proclaimed witch Annette Valerio of Hartfield, Connecticut has been concocting sudsy magic potions for nearly 10 years. Valerio is a practicing Wiccan and has brewed many styles of beer infused with supposedly magical ingredients, including herbs like black snake root and more traditional adjuncts such as coriander. She has brewed beers for good luck, attracting wealth, warding off hexes, and presumably one that turns people into toads. Now, she is launching a commercial brewery endeavor cuttingly named Witch's Brew. I was tempted in this story to make a bunch of jokes about how silly the whole business of the spells and potions is, but I think it's actually a really interesting idea, at least the novelty of it. While I doubt any of the beers will actually have any mystical effects, who knows, after enough of them, you might just start to believe. True Witch's Brew. Do you think that's true?
I'm going to say fake because you didn't include Eye of Newt. It's always a witch's brew ingredient, so
Yeah,
I'm out.
I don't know how it would work in beer. Ryan says fake. Dan, or Steph, excuse me.
Where did you say she's from?
Hartfield, Connecticut. Hartford, Connecticut.
One of those places.
I'm going to say true.
You're gonna say true. All right. And moving right along to Dan, what do you think? Real or fake?
I will go with fake.
Fake. All right. Dan and Ryan are correct. That is fake. That is not true. Not true at all.
I like how you had to throw in, in the story I wanted to make the jokes, but I didn't, which made it seem like it would have been real.
That was a cunning
Picked up on
ploy.
that. You duped Steph.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
did
don't
dupe me.
appreciate your roofs. I don't
You don't
appreciate your
my
roofs.
roids?
Sorry. Excuse me. Okay, this is our last story, and Steph's up to bat first on this one. And this story is the 10-cent beer riot. Even in the 70s, people had to be bribed to attend baseball games, and 10 cents was dirt cheap for a beer. In June of 1974, a 10-cent beer night promotion was held to entice fans to attend a matchup between the Cleveland Indians and the Texas Rangers. And it worked. Over 25,000 people showed up with fistfuls of dimes and proceeded to pound brews with such tenacity, one might think that they only came to get drunk on pocket change and not to take in an evening of America's national pastime. As any reasonable individual can deduce, competition plus cheap beer times 25,000 people equals riot. Intoxicated fans became increasingly unruly, with many streaking across the field. Things really erupted, however, when one fan ran into the outfield and attempted to steal a player's cap. When the outfielder turned to confront the drunken, thieving fan, he tripped and fell. The team manager, seeing this, mistakenly thought the player had been attacked, charged the field along with the rest of the team, many wielding baseball bats, to retaliate. A large chunk of the crowd also jumped in, and the opposing team joined in the mayhem as well. Amid a whirlwind of fists, bottles, foods, rocks, and folding chairs, bases were stolen, and the game was ultimately forfeited. The 10-cent beer riot, Steph. Is that real or fake? 10-cent beer.
10 cents sounds really cheap, even for the 70s.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to say fake.
You're going to say fake. All right, Dan, what do you think? Real or fake?
Can I ask a few questions?
No.
You can ask them, but I'm not going to answer.
What were the teams?
Cleveland and Texas.
Yeah,
That's what I
Indians
thought.
and Rangers.
Where was it played?
At wherever those teams play. I don't think I have that here.
But that's a pretty big difference. If it was Texas, I'm going real. If it's going Cleveland, I'm not.
I would go real for Cleveland.
Really? That's true. They don't have anything
Hey,
else.
you know what? Cleveland rocks.
You know what? That's a good point. I'll go real.
You'll go real. All right, Ryan. What do you think? Is that real or
I feel
is
like
that
I talked
fake?
you into that, but I'm going fake.
Ah.
Because
Good plan. Good plan.
if you said having in Philadelphia, I'd be
Well,
more.
I'd like to think the Phillies would know better.
I want to believe the story. You know, I've been to the 700 level and Dollar Dog Night and everything like that, but I don't know. I think I would have heard of it. Being a beer fan and a sports fan, I think I would have heard of that by now, so I'm going to say fake.
All right, well, you're going to say fake. Well, you should have heard of it because it is real. It is absolutely 100%
I am
true.
terrible at this
10
game.
cents.
Yeah, and
That's
you know what's
really
funny?
bad.
That's awesome.
It's very
I
believable.
deliberately left out a lot of the sports-related details, since you guys know that I am not a fan of sports. And I thought if I had too many sports details in there, you would know that it was real and that I hadn't made it up. So I thought that was dash cunning of me.
It was very dash cunning. You got me again.
I mean,
So I'm going to add up the points here and see who our winner is. And
Not
it looks
Ryan.
like we have a tie
Oh, again.
for last place.
Oh.
Ryan and Steph with 3 points.
Yay.
And our winner, once again, Dan, with 5 points, who
Ooh,
also
5.
won last. Yeah, you didn't win by a big of a spread this time.
Well, you
but
didn't give me many pop culture references.
Not too many. I did mention Klingons.
You did.
I did.
And I thanked you.
So Dan's our big winner on that one with 5 points. Ryan with 3. Steph with 3.
All right.
All right, and that's going to do it for this Happy Fun Time game, but we're not finished yet. We are going to tell you who won our last listener contest 2 episodes back when
Yes.
we had the Evil Genius guys, Luke and Trevor, on the show. They were kind enough to bring with them a pint glass and t-shirt for us to give away in a listener contest. And that contest was for you to tell us the strangest, oddest, weirdest, funniest beer name that you could come up with that we had not heard of, because we had played Libation or Fabrication that day, so it all kind of flowed together. It was,
And we had some
it was
great
thematic.
entries.
We had some pretty good entries. We had
Yeah.
some really good entries, but we settled on the the beer entitled Dirty Butt Cream and Brown, which is by Two Goats Brewing, which is a brew pub on Seneca Lake in Hector, New York. It's actually a combination of 2 of their brews, Dirty Shepherd Brown Ale and their Cream Ale, combined with, by their powers combined, are Dirty Butt Cream and Brown. So our winner on that was Joseph Burns, who said, and so he's going to get that t-shirt and that pint glass. He's going to get his face in our honorary brewologist Hall of Awesome. We will shout his name from the social media rooftops. And continuing that tradition,
Yes.
we are going to have another listener contest.
Yay.
This time around. Ryan, who joins us today from the brewery at Hershey, was also kind enough to bring some awesome swag. He brought. We got a T-shirt to give you. We've got a glass to give you, and we've got 2 posters.
Yeah.
2 posters for 2 of the brands of beer that they do there. Really awesome stuff. Really awesome stuff. Steph is wearing one of the T-shirts right now.
Yep.
So if you look at the picture to this episode,
You will see the awesome shirt.
The t-shirt. We'll get some more pictures up there, too, for you to see. So, in order to win this awesome swag, what you have to do, keeping in the theme of our game today, is to tell us a story about beer. Tell us the weirdest, strangest, funniest, most bizarre beer-related thing that has ever happened to you. A story that you have related to beer that's funny, that's strange, that's,
something we might not believe.
Something we might not believe.
But it has to be real.
Maybe,
not that we would know.
Not that we really wouldn't know. But if, that's part of the fun. You can invent a story too. So yeah, send us a story from your past that you're willing to share with the world related to beer. That's weird, strange, funny, whatever. If you do so, you will win the awesome Brewery at Hershey swag. So send those answers to info@beerbusterspodcast.com and win fabulous prizes.
Yes, very cool, very cool. All right, so thank you for the game, Wayne. But now we have
your beer.
Know your beers.
Steph, what do we have on tap today?
So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite styles of beer for this time of year, the porter. I'm going to talk about 3 specific styles of porter: the brown porter, the robust porter, and the Baltic porter. So let's start with the brown porter. This is an English dark ale with restrained roasty characteristics, and the style originated in England, evolving from a blend of beers known as Entire. The porter was a precursor to the stout style and is said to have been favored by porters and other physical laborers.
Was the Scottish version called McIntyre?
Perhaps. The aroma of a brown porter is very malt forward with mild roastiness, perhaps a bit of chocolate caramel, grainy notes, bready, nutty, and toffee-like. They appear light brown to dark brown in color, often with some ruby hues and an off-white to light tan head. The flavor is roasty with chocolate character and significant caramel, nutty, or toffee character, and some secondary flavors like coffee, licorice, biscuits, or toast could be present. They're typically medium bodied with moderately low to moderately high carbonations. Now, brown porter tends to be softer, sweeter, and more caramelly than lower alcohol than a robust porter. The malt bill usually contains chocolate and other dark roasted malts and caramel type malts. Historical versions would have used a significant amount of brown malt, and English hops were most common, but usually very subdued. London or Dublin type water with that hardness is traditional. English or Irish ale yeast and occasionally a lager yeast was used in this style. Some commercial examples: Fuller's London Porter, Sam Smith's Tatty Porter, Burton Bridge Burton's Porter, and Polygamy Porter. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I knew there was one more I really wanted to throw in there.
From the great state of Utah.
You got it. Libation or fabrication. Robust porter is the next one. This is a substantial malty dark ale with a complex and favorable roasty character. It's stronger and hoppier and roastier version of a porter, designed as either a historical throwback or an American interpretation of the style. The aroma for this one is, again, roasty, often with a lightly burnt black malt character, and may also have a grainy, bready, toffee-like caramelly, chocolate, or coffee aroma. It's medium brown to dark brown in color with ruby or garnet-like highlights, and it can even approach black in color and sometimes opaque. A full tan-colored head with good head retention is seen. The flavor has a strong malt flavor with that burnt black malt character coming through, sometimes with coffee and chocolate flavors as well, with a nice roasty dry finish. Again, medium to medium full-bodied, and carbonation levels may vary. Sometimes you'll get a slight warmth from the higher alcohol ones, or an astringency from the roasted grains. While several malts are often used, predominantly dark malts, roasted malts and grains are used, like black patent malt, to give that roasted barley flavor. And again, hard water is also used. Commercial examples: Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald Porter, speaking of Cleveland, Meantime London Porter, Anchor's Porter, Smutty Nose, Robust Porter, Sierra Nevada Porter, Deschutes Black Butte Porter, etc., etc., etc. Finally,
the brewery at Hershey's Sapsucker Maple Porter.
Oh, the Sapsucker Maple Porter. So that's the one where we're tasting that today, right?
You bet.
Sweet. Next would be the Baltic Porter, which is often like a higher alcohol English brown porter and a roasty Schwartz beer all in one. This complex beer is traditionally from countries bordering the Baltic Sea, derived from English porters and influenced by Russian imperial stouts. The aroma here will be rich malty sweetness, caramel, toffee, nutty, deep toast or licorice notes, with hints of dark fruits like plums, prunes, raisins, cherries, and currants. A dark reddish copper to opaque dark brown color complements a thick, persistent tan-colored head. The flavor is much like the aroma, sweetness and roastiness with those hints of fruits and strong alcohol. Full-bodied and smooth with alcohol warmth and medium to medium-high carbonation. Generally, a lager yeast is used or cold fermentation is used with an ale yeast. And debittered chocolate or black malt are used with Munich or Vienna base malt. And continental hops are typical for this style. Southampton Imperial Baltic Porter is a great example of this style. So some breweries now are using maple syrup to add a little bit of complexity to their porters. Brooklyn Brewery's Mary Maple Porter was part of their Brewmaster series. Saranac has their Maple Porter. Goose Island has the Pecan and Maple Porter. And Sam Adams has their maple pecan porter. Now, adding maple syrup is an interesting problem for some brewers because it is a completely fermentable sugar, meaning that as long as yeast is present, it's going to eat all of it up, not leaving much maple behind. So some brewers will have to adjust their malt bill appropriately so that you're not getting an extreme high alcohol, or some will be creative and add other adjuncts to get that maple flavor. And as Ryan alluded to, the brewery at Hershey has a maple syrup porter here. Their Sapsucker, which is a maple porter, which you described, Ryan, as, or the website describes, I don't know if these are your words, as eating a huge plate of delicious pancakes washed down with a big cup of coffee.
Those are my words.
I liked that, so I quoted you. So
Great.
for the Sapsucker, Ryan, at what point of the brewing process do you add the maple syrup?
I added some maple syrup, actually during the mash.
Oh, interesting.
And maple syrup is 100% fermentable.
Right.
I've tried to add it expecting flavor in the past. It just doesn't come through. I know some people who will, if you're home brewing, you might prime your bottles with it instead of corn sugar or something,
Right.
and have had better success coming through. At the brewery, we're kegging everything right now. I used a maple extract, and that I added actually right as I was moving from the fermenter to the bright tank, just so it got mixed up real nice.
But there is a hint of real maple syrup in there.
There is a hint of real maple syrup.
I love that. So I think I'm going to open the cooler and grab the growler of the maple porter out if you want to transition there, Dan.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
So we're going to start with Sapsucker. So Ryan, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this beer?
Yeah, well, I my goal was to put breakfast in a glass with this. Basically,
all you need is bacon.
Last year. Well, it's interesting you say that. Last year when I was homebrewing, I wanted to do a robust porter, and I had a couple flavor extracts laying around, and I just threw something up on my Facebook that said, what should I do, caramel or maple? Go. And my sister posted first with caramel, and then 20 people after her all said maple, so the maple.
I voted pretty quickly.
At the time I was just meeting my partners and everything, and they loved it. So they said I definitely had to make that. So just blew it up, and here it is. The maple extract just adds.
It smells wonderful.
It's literally like smelling a plate of pancakes.
It smells like breakfast.
It does.
Yeah.
With a little coffee in there. Yeah. Oh, I love the smell. Hey guys, as Nick brought class to us on the last episode of Beer Busters.
Yes.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is just more opportunity to spill beer.
Yeah, anyway.
And you are friends with our last guest, Nick.
Yes.
That's true. You guys, fellow homebrewers, or in the same homebrew club? How did you?
We met. We both went to Shippensburg University, and we had. He's much younger than me. We had common friends, and just met that way.
Very cool.
We have homebrewed together, and he plays hockey also. We have every year we've gotten my team, the Riot, to play his team, which is by default the Troganators, because they have awesome Trogs jerseys,
of course,
that they wear. But they usually come up. They rent a bus, come up from Philadelphia area, and they'll pay to come up and with the bus and everything. And then my team will rent the ice and the rafts and everything. And then the first year we went to Trogs Cameron Street brewery. Yeah, after one sip of beer after the game, and then last year we went to the last time we played, which is actually 2 years ago now. We went to the Hershey brewery, and now this year we're going to play in January and go to the brewery at Hershey.
Oh, that's awesome!
So,
excellent.
cool.
Well, this
I
would
get
be
a
a
chance
great
to host
beer.
now. Yeah.
This would be a great beer to have before the game. Carb up with a big plate of pancakes and
Game's
a
at 11
sapsucker.
a.m. So yeah,
Perfect.
it's,
You've
definitely
definitely
a morning beer.
achieved breakfast in a glass here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Absolutely.
just
Thank
like,
you.
yeah.
I want a stack of pancakes right
It
now.
does make you want
Seriously.
pancakes. Yeah, it makes you want pancakes.
Oh my
That's
god,
delicious.
I want to have my pancake and drink it too.
It's funny. I said to Wayne, it's funny you mentioned bacon because one of our serving choices for this beer, a friend of mine, Theo, was helping me brew a batch the one day, and we were drinking the maple porter, and he had the brainstorm to rim a glass with maple syrup, dunk it in bacon, and pour the maple porter in it. So
Nice.
we're actually serving it that way by choice at the brewery.
Oh, that's cool.
You know,
I know where
bacon,
I'm going.
Bacon bit rimmed glass with your
Oh
maple
my
porter.
God.
So
Dan's eyes are as big as plates right now.
Even I can
because
see
the
how
perfect
amazing
way,
that would be.
yeah, the perfect way to start your day is with a complete breakfast.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we had
Of course.
to add that. So as a choice, so Steph can get straight.
No,
into
that's
the pour.
mandatory. That's mandatory.
This is really good. I like the mouthfeel too. Sometimes when you get a something like a maple porter, you would expect it to be really
thick
and
molasses,
creamy,
like, yeah.
and but it's not. It's nice and medium body. It has good carbonation, and it's
Again,
nice.
I like to start my beers, my recipe. I always think about the base beer first. You know, it's good to do the maple, the pumpkin, everything else, but I think you have to start with a solid base recipe. And I've done this robust porter recipe a few times, and fortunately, it translated when I, scale everything up from 5 gallons to 310. I've had some luck, getting everything to scale up properly, and this one. Really, I think I'm 18 batches in at the brewery, and it's definitely, I think, my favorite beer.
Cool. What's the ABV on this?
It's about 5.
5.5.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
Five,
it seems
5.8,
kind of lightish.
5.5.
Like it goes down easy and
Yep.
Wow.
Pulling the next one out. Sorry. Nice sound effect of the ice there. Did you get that?
If you put your mic down by it next time.
Oh, there you go. We will get a good sound
yes.
effect.
Then we'll also get the sound effect of the mic stand moving and rattling around as well.
It's true. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So the next growler I'm opening is the beer that's on the shirt that a potential listener could win if I could
Ooh.
talk properly. Flash Gordon, your pumpkin spiced Oktoberfest ale. I mean, that's like fall in a beer right there.
I combined 2 styles, and it was a good Oktoberfest ale. I don't have the capacity to lager right now, but I used a real clean yeast, cold crashed it as much as I could. I figured start with that, a solid fall beer anyway, and then add the pumpkin and the spice.
It kind of looks like I expect a pumpkin beer to look. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does have a nice
It has a great
orangey-
orange color. Right?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, which isn't a color. Isn't a color you see too often.
Yeah. Especially in a beer. Like one of the last colors you'd want in your beer to be is orange, but this looks surprisingly right.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It's a nice color.
what do we got? Some Pilsner, Munich, and Vienna malts. So true Oktoberfest
Right. Cool.
style.
Where did the idea for the name come from?
This was tossed around a lot. We had a lot of good pumpkin names, and I thought I'd heard every good pumpkin name out there. But the partners, we just get an email chain going and kick the names around, and we were really close to having it be Punk Rock Gourd or something like that. But Marlo Mike, I think he is the one that came up with this, and it took a few days to grow on me. But once it did, I was all in, and I had to make those T-shirts.
The T-shirts are awesome.
Yeah, the T-shirts are loosely styled. Well, pretty much straight ripped off from the movie Flash Gordon on the front, and then they have our logo of the beer on the back.
Cool.
And they had to be Red Ringer T-shirts.
Yes.
That's right. I love it. The beer smells like an Oktoberfest, but when you taste it, you definitely, especially in the finish, you get those spices.
Yeah.
And it's so nice.
Yeah, you do.
It's like dessert. We had breakfast, and now
We're having dessert. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I get a lot of the cinnamon and spices. Yeah, it's interesting though. You don't from the aroma and the taste, you're expecting something different from the aroma, and then when you taste it, it's not what you expect. It's very good.
But it's a good different. It's a very good, pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
We released this beer to 4,200 people on a Saturday on our 40-acre farm. We did the year before our Merlot release party was our biggest party of the year, so we piggybacked the pumpkin ale on it this year, middle of September. So perfect timing for that. I won't release a pumpkin beer in July, or August, or whenever they're coming out now.
Good,
but I thought September was very nice, and I'd say about through my 18 kegs that I got from that batch, I think we kicked 16 that day.
Oh my God!
Wow. We kicked 26 kegs of beer in 6 hours.
That's impressive.
For 4,200 people.
Wow.
So immediately that Tuesday I was brewing more, and now this batch has lasted us. We have 2 kegs left right before Thanksgiving, so perfect with that.
Now, on the farm, do you grow any ingredients for the beers?
Not yet. We've been
something you're thinking about?
Oh, definitely. We are definitely. We do grow grapes for the wine. We've got about 1.5 acres of excuse me, vineyard. Now we're drinking the beer of grapes. I plan to. People always ask about hops. I may. But I really want to grow watermelon.
Oh
wow!
Because one of my best recipes as a home brewer, I think, is a watermelon wheat that I want to do when August rolls around. And
that could be really cool.
And by my calculations, I'll need about 60 watermelons. So I think I'm going to grow them.
There's a brewery in Boston, the Boston Beer Works. One of my favorite places going up there. They do a watermelon ale, and they have it in the summertime, and when they serve it, they put a slice of watermelon on the glass, which is cool. So an idea you can steal.
We are bacon rimming glasses, so I'm pretty sure we're going to garnish with watermelon too.
It's pretty intense.
I wouldn't put that past us. Especially if we have a whole field of them.
Yeah.
So I've already opened the next growler, Naughty and Spiced. Tell us about your holiday ale.
This was, this was one in the works. Again, it's one that I wanted to get a solid, almost unexpected style for the base, and I went with a wee heavy Scottish ale. I wanted a big beer. I wanted something malty that the spice could bounce off of, and so I started with that. A lot of Maris Otter malts and crystal malts, and then for the spicing, I kind of went the gingerbread route. There's orange zest, there's cinnamon, nutmeg, clove,
and something else.
Other things.
I feel like there's 5. I just rattled off a bunch of them, but basically Christmas festive gingerbread.
Yeah, it says cinnamon, nutmeg,
spices.
Cloves, ginger, orange, spice. I'm looking at the nose.
Yeah, that's what's in it.
I feel like we just changed seasons in one glass.
Yeah, it really.
It's officially Christmas.
It is very seasonally evocative.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the sweetness from that base wee heavy kind of plays off it, and it's about 7% too, and I think it hides it well. But
it does.
I'm really getting the ginger and the orange. Mm-hmm. Like that's really what's standing out to me, and I love it.
Yeah, it's got like a sort of tangy zest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is one of those where it didn't. The spicing was really hard to blow up to the bigger batches and to get right, and basically it was underspiced. So my next step was to make went to the liquor store, got some spiced rum, and just basically threw all the rest of my spices that I had for this batch in with this rum, let it sit for a week, filter it out, and I think that just gave it the final
little push
on the back end that it needed.
That's a really good idea.
As I moved it to the bright tank, as it was going in there, I was pouring that in to mix it up. But I think just a lot of the spicing kind of washed out in fermentation. So, but then this batch turned out well. So the second batch I made, I'm rocking it the same way.
Same.
I love the
Magali, I'm superstitious.
I love the wee heavy base though. That's unique. It's something that's different from what a lot of breweries are doing, and I think that's going to allow your holiday ale to stand apart from the others.
Yeah,
it gives it an extra level of complexity. It's not just the spices that you're getting. you're getting the malts and the sweetness
Yeah.
from the base, and
And
it
it
is nice.
has sort of a kick to it, not like an alcohol kick necessarily, but it has that kind of hides in there.
Yeah.
And I actually got a little licorice as well.
I was gonna say shouldn't be enough rum to come through, but I think there is.
Yeah,
actually.
you kind of feel it's
rum
just
definitely
a
has a place at Christmas time.
little, it really does, and it has just a
Or Jaeger.
a hint of something, or Jaeger. Yeah.
Use that next year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, do a Jaeger beer.
That's
That'd
worth
be
a
cool.
try.
That'd be
Worth
really
a
cool.
try. But yeah, it definitely.
Already
I mean,
a Jaeger bomb.
It's true. Yeah, no need to add Jaeger. It definitely it's Christmassy. Like you drink it and it's a winter Christmas. It evokes that sort of that season.
I love when you get because I'm starting out as a pro brewer. Like I said, I'm 18 batches in. I've done 3 of those. And that's actually a better percentage than I thought it would be at this point.
Yeah.
But we had an event. We had a murder mystery 2 weeks ago up at the vineyard, and the partners were actually the beer stewards and taken out to the table, and the beer and the wine and everything. And there's this one fun couple that every time I went to their table, they were, good time and everything. And I could see her thinking. I was coming up to the table, and it was after we served the naughty and spiced. And she just looked at me and she goes, "You bottled Christmas." And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a great
And the
compliment.
funny thing is I was holding a pitcher of maple porter for the dessert course, and I was like, wait till you smell this. I bottled breakfast.
You really do.
Yeah.
Like all these beers, they have like this
Just
is
like, get out.
this is breakfast, this is fall, this is Christmas. Like they really do.
You have to put a fireplace in at the brewery, sit inside,
that's
and
a good idea.
watch the snow fall. And
We're no
drink
strangers to
those.
spontaneous bonfires, so
There you
go.
we could do that. Yeah.
Get the s'mores and everything going.
Monster
I
truck.
can see the s'mores going with the maple one really well.
Oh yeah.
Where did
wow,
all
yeah.
those pellets go? Oh, Doug started a spontaneous bonfire. So yeah, we do that a lot.
And we're brewing spontaneous bonfire ale. There's a name for you. You can use that.
Thank you. That's a challenge. I'm going to build a beer around that now.
Or Rauch beer.
Nice. We just had one of those the other week. So Steph's pulling out a special
Yeah, I see this
surprise beer that I brought.
mysterious blue bottle
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
with a totally awesome bottle cap that I am going to keep and use for something. I love it. It's a red bottle cap and it has their logo on. It's really cool and it goes very nicely. Oh, Red Sox colors. You did this for me. Blue and red.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking. Okay, so what is the secret?
What is the secret
special
beer?
All right, so this is a blueberry pomegranate wheat.
Oh my
What?
goodness!
What?
Yeah. So we decided to do a special series.
I can smell it. I just opened it and I smell it.
Oh wow, yeah.
Decided to do a special series of beers called Special Ops beers. They are small batches, like tiny, like 5 gallons right now. Hoping to upgrade our pilot system, which is code for homebrew system, and get a couple more kegs out of each batch.
Holy
But
crap.
last July we had an event that benefited the Fort Indian Town Gap wants to create a memorial for 3 fallen Pennsylvania soldiers. We had an event for them, and we helped them raise that night close to $10,000 of their $25,000 goal.
Cool, awesome.
So we wanted to do more to make this memorial happen. So we are donating proceeds from the sales of these batches to this fund. The soldiers were Sergeant Edward Kohler, Staff Sergeant Brian K. Mowry, and Staff Sergeant Kenneth R. Van Giesen. And they were killed when a roadside bomb went off in Afghanistan. So we had a July 5th event, and we had a bugler, and we had a Humvee there, and their CO just gave an incredible speech talking about these men and showed designs on what they wanted to do. And with a generous donation from Members First Credit Union, we raised almost $10,000 that night. So
Yeah, that's great.
we're not happy with that. We want to do more. So
Yeah.
we're going to do these batches. And they actually are kind of letting me spread my wings a little bit too and kind of test our customer base and see what we can get away with. Our first beer was Smoky the Beer, which was a Roush beer.
Awesome.
Somebody just said. It was actually over 50% smoked malts, beechwood and cherrywood smoked malts, and the cherrywood sweetens it up, and it just really tasted like bacon. As you can tell I like bacon by now. So that was our bacon beer.
That's
Kick
how a vegan gets her bacon.
There you go.
That's true.
There you go.
That's very true.
Still had some, yeah. No pigs were harmed in the making of that beer.
That's right.
But it definitely tastes like bacon. This is our blueberry pomegranate wheat. I was telling everybody beforehand about some of the ones that we have in line. I have an oatmeal stout that's aging on cocoa nibs and oak chips and Merlot and brandy that were left over from a batch of our chocolate wine. So I'm just going to get real weird with this now and just do some really off-the-wall stuff that'll help benefit the memorial for these soldiers. We actually had our Mike, our social media partner, he was on a couple newscasts this week talking about it. Brad ran a blog, a writer in Lebanon, picked up the story, and Sergeant Kohler's widow, she got in touch with us, actually posted a comment on this blog saying how much she appreciates that and everything, and but she's living in Georgia and can't get our beer. Well, that's why I bottled some of this batch of the blueberry pomegranate wheat, because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, get her address. We are sending her. It's the least we can do to send her some beer and our gratitude for her husband's service.
Well, this is a really great beer, and she's going to love it. So it'll be nice. I can't stop drinking.
This is really good, and it's got.
We're back to summer now.
We are.
You've taken us on a trip around.
I really find the
we went back in time a little bit, didn't we, Dan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Was that 88 miles an hour already?
Yes. But it's got like a peach color to it, which is really nice, and just the story behind it, and you know, to benefit the soldiers and the fund and whatnot. But this is.
Like we needed another reason to drink awesome, creative small batches. Right. Now we can feel even better.
I think this is the most unique flavor I've ever had in a beer.
It's so good.
It really is, yeah. It is very unique.
And it finishes very clean and dry. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
It does.
It's good.
This was originally going to be a small batch of my watermelon wheat. The American Homebrewers Association has National Learn to Homebrew Day. Mm-hmm. So I held an event at our place, and I held it on that Sunday instead of Saturday like it was supposed to be. Saturday was gorgeous out, nice and warm. Sunday, the cold front came in, it was freezing. I had 14 diehard people out there. Just by the end of it, I had 2 people. But I kind of did this learn to homebrew session at the brewery, and it was intended to be a watermelon wheat. I can't find any good watermelon up to the standards this time of year. So I started thinking pomegranate, and then I thought it's so tart, I need something to kind of sweeten it and balance.
To balance it out, yeah.
Just thought about throwing blueberries too.
I think, that was a great idea, because you get the sweetness and you get the tartness, and it balances out nicely. And I love the color it made.
Yeah,
it's so pretty.
It is a really nice color. It's very unique. And I like some of the other things you were talking about doing, the experimentation and pushing different flavors and trying different things.
Yeah, when you're doing a 10-barrel batch and 310 gallons, it's you got to really think people are going to like it and buy it. But, and as a home brewer, I, sweat over a 5-gallon batch. Now it's like 5-gallon batch. Okay, if nobody likes it, it's okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'll take it home, whatever. But yeah, so this is just our way of kind of testing and seeing, like a Roush beer. I really wanted to test with our customer, because smoked beers, you love them or you hate them, I think, is what I've run into.
Yeah.
People seem to like it. So.
If you're Steph, you love them because you're a vegan, but you secretly want bacon.
Well, and I put habaneros in my Roush beer, so it makes me love them even more.
Spicy bacon?
Spicy bacon.
Spiky base. Yeah.
Spiky? Spiky basin.
Spiky face? What?
Spiky.
I think this segment is over.
Oh, my God. I can't pick a favorite.
No, they were all
my God.
So different.
It really is. Yeah, it's dare I say apples and oranges.
Like when we started, after we had
pomegranates and blueberries.
Pomegranates and blueberries.
after we started with the sapsucker, I wrote "Holy crap" next to it, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be the favorite. But then we went into the Flash Gordon, and then the Naughty and Spice was so layered, and the blueberry pomegranate. I never would have thought to do that ever.
I would do the sapsucker at breakfast, and then I would have the blueberry pomegranate at lunch, and then I would have the holiday ale with my dinner, and then I would have the Oktoberfest, the pumpkin Oktoberfest for dessert. So it's
you've got your day planned out.
Yes, it
really.
makes
I know what you're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There is still beer in
There's
these
some
growlers.
left in the growlers.
There won't be by the end of the night.
Yeah, these are all really, really good.
Oh
Thank you.
my God.
Thank you.
Wayne, are you able to pick out a favorite?
I just have to say, sitting here, I can still smell the maple, though. I love the maple
I was going to
smell.
say, if you put a gun to my head, I think...
we always say that.
I know. That's what we always say. I think I would go with the sapsucker.
I could see it.
But I mean,
That's the thing.
a tough
You can't
choice
narrow
because
it down.
they're all really good, and they're all so different, and it depends, if you're what you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flavors are just, I mean, they're complex, but they're not overly complex, to the point where there's like so much going on. And they all just sort of fit a niche.
I'm a sucker for crazy creative beers that have insane ingredients, and so these were all right down my alley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you
I've
have
got a lot more weird ideas. So we're gonna
it sounds like it, yeah.
definitely stretch the legs out here. So
Now you
I
said
also have some. Sorry.
You said the maple porter is your
Yeah.
favorite though of these.
Oh boy.
Those two now I put them on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, the base style. I think brewing that base style was one of the, and I rebrewed it yesterday because we actually got practically bought out of it this week. But just the base style, the porter. I'm very seasonal in my drinking, so this was like my first dark beer of the season. So, I'm excited about that. If I had to pick one of these four in front of me, I've got a soft spot for the Naughty and Spice. This blueberry pomegranate wheat, I didn't know how it was going to, I had no idea how it was going to turn out. It was the first time I ever tried something like that. So I'm actually very pleased with this because I kegged it yesterday and tapped it today. So I really didn't know what to expect. So it's definitely growing on me. I could see that one being blown up.
Yeah.
Scale.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So
In
what's
the summer.
what's the
Early
craziest
summer, maybe.
what's the craziest idea you have in the back of your head right now for a beer?
if you want to give it away.
No, you don't have to give it away. That's true.
You could use black snake root, like the witch.
Eye of Newt.
I almost did Springhouse in Lancaster. It's very off the wall, kind of almost Dogfish-esque in their big, flavorful beers.
Mm-hmm.
Their big gruesome chocolate peanut butter stout's one of my favorite. They, I think, year or two ago had a homebrew contest, and I was trying to think. I'm like, well, what would impress them? I'm like, I gotta think of something crazy. I was this close to doing a banana split beer, banana split wit. I think I was gonna do.
Nice.
I was gonna do a
Brilliant.
wit, and I was just gonna like cocoa nibs and then fresh strawberries and like. I don't
Please
know.
do it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Lactose. I don't know. I was sketching out all kinds of stuff
things. Yeah,
with
that's
that,
an
but that was
interesting
like
idea.
my. I don't know, and then use like a Heffy yeast
For the
bring
banana.
out the
Get the
banana.
bananas.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So
Yes.
I had like all kinds of designs on that, but I think I ran out of time, and I just submitted prototype Naughty and Spiced and something else, an IPA maybe. The Naughty and Spice placed. Didn't win,
Very
but
cool.
placed.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. It's interesting that you mentioned a little bit about scaling. Being a home brewer and coming and experimenting and coming up with these ideas that you brew 5 gallons of, and it works really well, and then the challenges you face when you try to scale that up. And I think that's something that maybe people who go from home brewing or small batches going up to bigger things might not necessarily consider the challenge that comes with that.
No one could give me a definitive answer on will my recipe scale up.
Right.
There was, I heard yes, I heard no, I heard, first couple batches, tell people you're brewing, don't tell them what it is because you don't know what's going to come out of there. Name it later, things like that. And I took, all my recipes were like in beer tools, and then I got Beer Smith, and I created a profile, the best I knew about my system, which is a total Frankenbrew pieced together. Half my tanks are dairy tanks. They're repurposed and everything like that. If you've seen that Frankenbrew movie, it's awesome. But so I really didn't know, but in Beersmith then I just took my 5-gallon recipes, scaled them up using this 10-barrel profile that I created, and I think I guessed right on all the stats and things like that. And
brewer's luck.
The people who previously owned my kettle and mash tun said they were getting 80% efficiency, so I did that. I know with hop utilization you have to jack it up to like 125% or something like that, so I did that. And just with that way of doing something, I think I just got lucky on that. Like all the base styles were hitting, and then I took my recipes, and if it was, I don't have a mill, I'm getting pre-milled grain. So I was, if I had like 97 pounds of something, I was tweaking it up to 100 or 110, whatever the bags came at 50 or 55 pounds, tweaking that up, this down. If I was still right on my color and my IBUs and everything like that, book it so that I could, not have like partial bags laying around and everything, since it is pre-milled. So it just kind of worked. So
that's cool. And it's one of the things
sticking with that.
It's not a simple, I'll just multiply everything by this. It's not necessarily going to work.
And I haven't newly designed anything. These are all like recipes from 7+ years of home brewing, hundreds of batches that I'm just pulling from and blowing up. So,
that's cool. It's worked.
Yeah,
thank you. I'm just gonna roll with it. So,
Wow. Well, thank you for giving us these samples. They're fantastic, and
My pleasure.
I can't wait to get up and try the bacon rim glass on the maple one. That's
We'll make a trip up there.
Yeah, we need to.
We'll go there, and then we'll go to Al's of Hamden. We'll make a day of it.
All right.
Yeah,
I like the
sounds
sound
good.
of it. Now, of course, as always, everything that we've tried will be checked in on the show's Untapped account. And I realized, instead of prattling on about our own social media, just go to our website, beerbusterspodcast.com. It's all linked on there.
Absolutely.
And you're probably tired of hearing me go on and on about it. However, our guest Ryan and the brewery at Hershey, they have their own social media. If you are on Twitter, which you should be, you should follow them at Brewery Hershey. Now, the website, is that just part of the Vineyard website?
Yeah, it's vineyard@hershey.com.
Okay. And I know there's a tab up top that just says, brewery at Hershey,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Now, do you guys have like Facebook or anything along those
We have
lines?
Facebook.
Have you heard of this thing called Facebook?
What about this MySpace thing?
Facebook, I think, is is Vineyard Hershey. I search for the Vineyard. It's on as the Vineyard and Brewery at Hershey on Facebook. So
And
you
we'll
just search for that.
We'll obviously link it on our site then
Yeah,
too.
we'll put it
Yeah,
up and-
Cool.
Yeah,
and
that way
search
you
for it
guys
and
get
find
the
it.
much deserved credit and hits from this. And seriously, get to this brewery. My God. And of course, we would like to thank you again for coming to us. And it's thank you for supplying the things for the contest today. Which, by the way, info@beerbusterspodcast.com. You tell us a strange beer story. You get a glass, you get a shirt, and 2 of the beer posters, which are very, very, very awesome. So make sure you get your story over to us.
Yeah, and your story better be good, or we're keeping the stuff.
I might do that anyway. No.
And Dan, if you don't mind, just one more shout out
Yeah, please.
to check out those of you in the Fort Worth, Texas area, check out Wahoo Brewing.
That's right.
And those of you in Falls Church, Virginia or the DC area, be sure to check out Mad Fox Brewing. They're doing awesome things.
Those of you everywhere, buy Beer Buster swag at our swag shop and
Yes.
sign up for our newsletter.
Yes, newsletter. Exclusive content will be coming to you very, very, very shortly, God willing.
Yeah, in 2 days.
2 days. 2 days.
So by the time this episode
From-
airs, the first newsletter should have gone out.
Okay, that was my question. 2 days from air or 2 days from
2 days
recording?
from now. So when this
Black
air, it
Friday
will and have been
is the
happened.
goal.
So when I'm busy in the retail world wondering why people are out and about, you'll have new content.
I'm going to be sitting at home in my underwear putting together the newsletter.
I'll just go to work in my underwear.
Oh dear, thanks for that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but this does bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters Podcast. And of course, we would like to thank you for joining us this time around. And it was author Terry Pratchett in the book The Last Continent who said, a quote I find myself saying very often, "I don't think I've had enough beer to understand that." I've said it too many times to count. As always, my name is Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and our fermentainer,
Wayne the Baker.
and our 4th Beer Buster on the day,
Ryan DeLutis.
Ryan, thank you so much for coming out today, my friends.
We
would like to thank you for joining us on this adventure known as Beer Busters Podcast. Until next time, we bid you adieu.
Y'all come back now here.